Sometimes you lose a deal just because the first reseller introduced the quote very quickly, and the others take days or weeks, and that kills your business as a VAR.
So, I'd like to start this episode by saying something that might be slightly controversial, okay? So, the channel has spent over a decade investing in CPQ tools, and we still hear the same complaints we heard about a decade ago. You know, reps working in spreadsheets, deals getting priced wrong, and so forth. At what point do we admit that the problem is not the people, but the tools?
Excellent question. There are about 100 different CPQ tools in the world. None of them was created for the specific needs of value-added resellers, okay? And trying to, I would say, improvise and trying to augment the functionality of a generic CPQ with some manual processes around it is the root of all evil. This is what creates the challenges around it. And the only way to address it is not by, better humans or better robots, is by better tools, or the right tools, right. I should say.
So that is actually a perfect way of putting it in the situation. You basically paid for a solution and you're still doing some of the work on spreadsheets. So walk me through, where does this actually start to get messy?
Okay. There are a few areas where things are problematic, okay? First, the fact is that when a reseller is dealing with an end customer, there are many iterations. Back and forth about the quote, here's the quote, I don't like this, do this, exchanges. Every change like that requires the reseller to manually make changes and as a result introduce mistakes. So 5 to 10 iterations, many mistakes introduced in pricing, many mistakes introduced in other areas, and the whole situation becomes a little bit messy. Okay, so one wrong or missing component can erode the whole profitability of the deal, for example. Customer is unhappy because the equipment should have been ordered, but it was not, did not arrive. So apart from the money aspect, the whole project is delayed and so on and so forth. So this is one area of problems that arise from manual work augmenting in adequate tools.
5 to 10 iteration, that sounds about right. So the rep thinks that they did everything by the book. That they moved fast, they closed it, and then something breaks somewhere they weren't even looking.
Correct. And again, the problem is the manual work, okay? If you get a configuration from Cisco and there has to be some memory cards inside, it's a valid configuration and so on. But for some reason, the quantity was changed by mistake by somebody, or maybe the component was entirely missing, or something was added that it cannot be ordered as part of the configuration. All of this creates major issues. Either the order is stuck in the supply chain and is delayed by a great deal, or when it arrives without a critical component, right? So think about, ordering a server, forgetting the hard disk. Not going to work very effectively. And those are type of issues that we usually see when you start involving manual processes with the inadequate CPQ tools.
Yeah. And beyond the operational failures, there is a big, deeper issue. These tools do not actually understand how channel pricings work, right?
Exactly. So in the VAR business, unlike regular vendors, the quoting tool usually does not rely on fixed price books or price lists. Almost every deal is priced separately, which means that you get from the vendor, if you buy directly from the vendor or from a distributor such as Ingram, you get specific pricing for a specific deal. And not getting the right pricing is a major issue. Working with price list is a major issue because it's inaccurate, it's not relevant. Sometimes you have contractual pricing with the end customer, such as in the case of government and military projects and so on. So getting the pricing right is critical. Getting the rebate around the pricing, which was the subject of another episode, is also critical because it may have a major impact on your profitability. So the whole pricing issue, your cost, is different every deal. Your customer commitment is different every deal. And unless you have a tool that can bring everything together, not getting pricing from catalog, you're probably either leaving money on the table or going to lose the deal to a competitor that is using a more intelligent pricing methodologies that take into consideration all the elements and not just list price and so on.
Right. You know, during this conversation, I've been hearing for quite some time now the name Citynet. What's about that?
Well, it's a very interesting situation. Just as an example, Citynet is a reseller and a managed service provider, MSP. They were negotiating a very large deal with an end customer. Majority of the equipment came from Cisco. Cisco was involved in the pricing negotiation in order to help Citynet. And they went back and forth. There was fierce competition and usual day in a life of a reseller.
Right.
They were on the phone, the three of them, like the VAR, the Cisco, and the customer. Okay, talking about pricing, agreed on bigger discount to the customer, driven by a bigger discount from Cisco to the reseller, so they can keep the profit, and everybody was happy. Within 5 minutes, few clicks, 5 minutes, the customer received a new quote because Citynet is using a special VAR optimized CPQ. As a result, the customer received the new quote revised very quickly, signed the purchase order, sent it back to the reseller, and everybody was happy. The Cisco guy called Citynet after 2 days and said, when are you going to send the revised quote to the end customer? And they said, listen, we already sent it 2 days ago after 5 minutes. Then after 10 minutes, we got a PO. It's all done. Why are you asking? Say, because we're used to very slow tools and very slow progress usually. And this just exemplifies how optimized tools can really make a difference in the ability to close deals, close them faster, close them with the right profitability.
Yeah. So it's not just that they save time. They actually gave their sales team more time to sell.
Absolutely. Instead of being focused on administrative tasks, manual copy-paste, and so on, people are more involved with the business, understanding the needs of the end customers, and as a result, generating more opportunities, larger opportunities, closing them faster, and so on. Those are all benefits that result by using the right tools that remove all the friction that generic CPQ tools introduce in the equation, usually.
Yeah. Now, switching gears a bit, we're starting to see CPQ vendors adding AI agents. Can that actually help closing the gap for VARs?
In theory, yes, but there are a few critical points that we have to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. First of all, we should not confuse automation with an agent. Automation is a deterministic set of steps. AI agent usually gets a goal and runs a few steps towards achieving the goal. In order to be successful either way, you have to have accurate data. That's the key. If you don't have the right pricing, if you don't have the right contractual agreement with the customer, all of those are inputs for any agentic approach to the situation. Rebates. If you don't have the right tool to calculate rebates, generic AI will not help you. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to use agent, and we have customers that are starting to look in that direction, you need to have the right environment, what's called MCP services that will support the agents. And unless you have the right tools and unless you have the right system of record, which the agent is using in order to learn from history or introduce new quotes, the premise or promise of AI is not going to be fulfilled because accuracy and reliability are critical. 1 cent difference in the order may stop the whole process. So you have to be very accurate, very reliable, and you have to base it on I would say, deterministic elements such as the history, such as the pricing, such as the rebate, and other elements that pertain to quoting process.
Yeah. So if a VAR leader already has a CPQ in place, how do they know actually whether it's working or not?
I think they need to look at the amount of automation that CPQ provides versus the amount of manual work that is required in order to augment the automation of the CPQ. How fast can they deliver? Because sometimes you lose a deal just because the first reseller introduced the quote very quickly and the others take days or weeks just to figure out what's going on. So look at how many quotes can you produce, how much manual work you need to invest in each of the quotes, and how long it takes you to make changes. We mentioned 5 to 10 iterations before. So that's critical, right? And probably if you have a generic tool, you will discover a lot of manual work, a lot of time wasted on admin tasks, manual copy-paste, delays, and as a result, lost deals or low profitability that if you win the deal at the end, and that kills your business as a VAR.
Yeah, and if everyone keeps going off script, maybe the script is the problem. Raphael, thank you so much for being with us here today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Have the best day.